Hello there. So I wanted to take this video to show you how to create a Rails endpoint, picking a real life example. Here I'm using Cherry. Cherry is an open source project, so I can share the link to the commit with you after the video. The task I have to do today is to add an endpoint API metrics. It's going to be a show action, so I just want to return one metric. And what we want the interface to look like would be something like get API metrics, and we're gonna need some params. We're gonna need a project name. We're gonna need a metric name, and we're gonna need an API key for authentication. Okay, these are the params, and in the response, all we want is a value, which is a number. It's actually a float. Um, and that's it. So this is our contract. That's what we agreed on. And we're gonna implement this. So let's make it happen. So here I'm just gonna clear everything, and we're gonna get started by the routes or the tests. I don't usually do TDD, but um, for the exercise we can try. We could try to do that. Come on, I never do this. Controller pushes controller metrics. Yeah, metrics controller. No, it doesn't exist. API pushes controller. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this file. That's how I usually code, right? And as metrics controller test. Okay, and I'm gonna remove pretty much everything. Yeah, everything. And I'm gonna keep this. So here we're gonna test the endpoint that we want. So the convention is to use a describe with the name of the endpoint, which is show, the name of the action from the controller. This test should be named as the controller, so it's API metrics controller test. Here we're gonna write the setup, and then we're gonna assert for things. So for the setup, we're gonna create a user. Yes, we're gonna also create a project. It's gonna be create project for the user with the name, I don't know, Reyes. And we're gonna create a metric uh, that belongs to the project that is called Rubocop, and that has the value 12. Okay, and we're gonna need a report, and the report has the value, so the metric doesn't have a value. That's false. The report belongs to the metric and it has a value of 12. Yes. Okay, this I'm telling you because I know the data model, but if you didn't, you could use the schema and go look, okay, reports, they contain a value and they belong to a metric, etc. This is what I'm telling you our model is, and just ask you to trust me on that. So here we have the first test. It's not going to be a post. We want it to be a get. We want this to be on our API metrics path, and we're gonna pass the params that we need. And this is gonna be a JSON format. Um, what did we say we need? I'm gonna copy and paste from here. Yes, cool. So the project name we want is Rails. The metric name is Rubocop, and the API key is our user API key. We want the response to assert JSON and assert response, no, assert equal. I think it's in this format. Yeah, exactly. And we want this. Yes, exactly. What didn't it like? Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna launch the test and it's gonna fail. That's TDD API metrics path is not defined. That's because we didn't define the route, and let's start fixing all the issues. So here are the CLI routes in the project. I'm going to share with you as well. You can find it anyways on GitHub with what is it? Cherry. GitHub, cherry push cherry, exactly. There you go. There it is, and you can check all the files. So I'm gonna get back here. And to create the API metrics path that we want, I'm actually gonna have a problem because we don't have the IDs. Oh, so I'm gonna have to change my specs. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna do it more like API projects. This is gonna be project name, metrics, and this is gonna be the metric name. And then you're also gonna pass an API key, which is gonna be something. And I expect it to return something like this. Okay, that's cool. Let's do this. So to make that happen, we are gonna have to add a resources for projects that's gonna nest inside it, and other resources for metrics that's only gonna have the action show. And now if we grab our routes for API projects, this is gonna show what we have, but it says project ID and ID, which we can rename. To rename that, we can use it here. We can say rem project name. But then it's project name. That's weird. So I'm just gonna remove this. I'm gonna say name, and here I'm gonna say param metric name. Okay, that's good. That's exactly what we said. So now we can relaunch the test, but it's not API metric spec, it's API project metric path. And it takes project name, metric name, API key as JSON, and we're good. Oh yeah, initialized constant metrics controller. Sure, because we didn't create the controller. So let's go to our folder, and that's when we start coding. API, and here we're gonna add a metrics controller, RB, but yeah, that's actually good. Class metrics controller, which inherits from API application controller. And here we're going to define a show action, and we want it to render a JSON with a value that's going to be the metric dot value. I'm just writing what I want it to look like, but it doesn't exist, okay? For instance, metric doesn't exist yet. We're going to have to define that. Value is a method that doesn't exist in metric. We're going to have to implement it, but I want this controller to look like this. This is the interface that I expect, so that's what I'm writing on. Now we need to define the metric. The metric's gonna be actually found through the project. So we have a helper that is current project. Metrics find by name, yes, but if we use the bang, this is gonna raise when it doesn't find the metric, and it can be params metric name. Actually, we're gonna use, yeah, no, metric name. Yeah, that's good. So here is also, well, we're gonna need to include API project scoped, I guess. Is that, yeah. And so with this, we're gonna have access to the helper current project. That's gonna allow me to scope the metrics, and then we're gonna find what we need, and that's it. Let's launch the test again. Okay, expected file, API metrics controller. Oh yeah, because this is inside API, we need to namespace it. Undefined method value for metric. Yeah, it makes sense. That's what I said. This is a method that doesn't exist, so we're gonna define it, and it's gonna be value. And what it's gonna do is to return last report dot value. And new if it doesn't have a last report. Yeah, okay. Well, that's equivalent to this, so we're going to keep the simple version. And okay, the test path, but I want to make more tests, so more test scenarios. So let's say it raises when project not found. What else? It raises when metric not found. When API key missing. When it handles access control. What else? It well, it's not creates reports. It returns the value of the latest value of a metric. First, okay, so this is another test, the value of a metric, and it returns the latest value of a metric. So yeah, in this scenario, we're gonna create an older metric, and then what else? It raises when a metric has no reports. Well, I think that's enough. Let's start by the first one. So okay, raises when project not found. I would like this to be a little bit shorter so it fits on one line. It's disturbing me. Um, how can I change this? Whatever. I'm gonna keep it as is for now. Erases when project not found. So project not found could be whatever. And so we expect a response to be not found. Yeah. And we can launch a test and this undefined method value for a new class. Where is this? Here. metric, current project. Oh, actually project scoped creates a project if it doesn't exist. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, so that's why it's good to write tests. We're gonna implement this. This is gonna be using user. Where do we have API application controller and set user. Okay, so we can use the user here. So user dot projects dot find by name params project name. And we can split in two lines. Let's say project go equals this. Yeah, and here we can say project metrics. Okay, cool. And so here we can handle return had not found if project new. And let's launch all the tests. Okay, everything passes. We're gonna write the next one. Erases when metric not found. So if the project is correct, okay, I'm gonna do this. Yes, perfect. So this is project name or this. This is metric name or that. And this is API key or this. Nice. And get metric should become just this. And do the tests all still pass? Yes, only one failing because I didn't. Oh no, 0 expected 3. Yeah, just gonna. That's better. Yeah. Project name, up, and user API key. Okay, launch it again. It works. Cool. So here we can say get metric with yeah, okay. Oh no. Okay, that should still work. And raises when metric not found. So if the metric name is just unknown, that should be a 2. Okay, undefined method value for new class, because we need to handle the error if metric is new. Now this should pass. Noise. And here raises when metric has no reports. I think we can use the default thing, but we should clean the reports before launching the test. Let's see what fails. Cool. So it said missing. Oh, that's actually a good error. Expected response to be a 404 missing. Yeah, okay. My bad. And it was a 200. I wonder what the returned value was. Assert equal new that. Oops. Yeah, that. What is response body value? No. Oh, yeah. So actually makes sense. Returns no when metric has no reports. And its value no. Okay. Wrong number of arguments expected. Given 0. I don't get it. Wrong number of arguments given 0 expected 1 or plus. Why is that? Oh, this is new. Fuck. Okay. Okay. Raises when API key is missing. So if we try to get the metric with API key new, it asserts response. I think it's a bad request because it's missing. Cool. Handles access control. So if I say an API key that doesn't exist, I want the response to be unauthorized. Cool, that's handled already by our helpers and returns the latest value of a metric. Okay, this is interesting. So I want to get the metric, but before I want to add a node metric equals to create metric project. Well, actually, old report 1 day ago, value 10, and new report 1 day from now, value 14. And when we get metric, we want to assert response okay. And we want the assert equal value 14. Exactly. That's what we want. This should be well, a new report that, well, 14. Just gonna name them. And I'm just gonna check the schema. I think reports have a date and we order by date, and we want them to be ordered by date. Date. So let's launch a test. And it still works. That's good. I think that's good enough. Let's review the code. So we get the project, we handle missing project, we get the metric, we handle the missing metric, we scope the projects by user, we scope the metrics by project. and we return the value, and the value might be null. That's cool. We implemented the method that we needed. We implemented the routes using only resources, no custom routes. And the tests, all good. Okay, so add endpoint to fetch latest metric value. Commit and push. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go get the GitHub cherry commits, and I'm gonna share this in the video description, so you can take a look if you want. That's it for today. See ya. Ciao, ciao.